Banks and credit unions have a problem. Their outdated technology can't keep up. Not with the engaging experiences of big tech and challenger banks, or the speed of new fintech services. And especially not with growing customer expectations. So financial institutions can either lose their customers to better digital players, or they can upgrade. And that's where we come in. The Backbase engagement banking platform is the evolution of the digital banking experience. With the power of one platform, you can start small, then grow big across all channels and business lines. You can increase conversions during onboarding and product applications, deepen customer loyalty and engagement, partner with the finest fintechs, and above all, improve life for customers, and also employees. With turnkey apps, plus accelerators to build your own, the platform can be tailored to the unique needs of any sized bank or credit union, like the hundreds around the world that we're powering today. This only scratches the surface of what Backbase can do for you. To learn more or speak to us, visit backbase.com.
Hi there, my name is Iman Ghodosi. I'm the Regional Vice President here at Backbase in Asia Pacific. Pleased to be here with you today. I'm going to take us through why Backbase and who Backbase is, and also what is the engagement banking era and why it's important and how it's impacting every one of us, whether we're the consumer or whether we're a bank. So to do that, I actually like to take us through maybe a slight little journey around what's been happening in the industry over the last 100 or so years, and where have we been, and what have we seen, and where have we come from, so we can see where we're going over the next few years. So around 100 years ago, I think everyone's familiar with your local branch banking. It was pretty personalized, right? Everybody knew everybody. Everybody knew what you wanted, and everybody probably knew each other by first names. Now, the challenge with that was it wasn't really scalable. It wasn't live. It wasn't real time. There was a lot of manual processes that needed to happen, and from a choice perspective, there was pretty limited amount of choice in terms of some of the products that you could acquire from the bank during that time. Then around 50 or so years ago, organizations like IBM came along, and they helped banks be the first digital pioneers in terms of what we now call digital transformation. So, and that's what's interesting. The banks have been doing this for the last 50 or 60 years, and they've been on this journey of digital transformation, which we hear about all the time. Now, through that journey, we were able to digitize a lot of the processes, and we were able to get a lot of benefit. So we went from manual paper-based to manual batch processing, right? For those of us who remember that. Then manual processing, batch processing went to automated batch processing, which was the one step further. And then as technology improved and networks became more and more common, we then went into the concept of what we now know as real-time processing in terms of what we have. But along the way, something's happened, right? And we've lost that human element and human touch when we've gone digital, right? So we've centered everything around the products and the products that we want to take to market into different areas of the market in different channels, right? But what we've done is we've lost that ability to connect with our customers on their terms. So what we've then done is we've added this thing called digital banking on top of the current core platforms to provide those products to the customers. Now, at Backbase, we firmly believe that concept of digital banking is 5 years ago, and in the next 5 years, it'll absolutely be dead. And the reason for that is today we live in a digital world, right? This digital world is a hyper-personalized and engaging world that everyone that partakes need to address this hyper-personalization requirement that the customers have. Now, why is this important? Right. So again, if we look at other industries and if we look at what's happening around the world, 88% of Fortune 500 firms that existed in 1955 are no longer there on the list. They've either completely disappeared off the list, like companies like Kodak, or they've gone down into the 2, 3, 4, 500s on that list. Now, let's look at some of the ones that have survived. Again, I talked a little bit earlier about IBM, who helped one of the first developer of mainframes that helped the banks digitize their processes. IBM has managed to move away from being a hardware company and has transformed itself into digital services. And it's been able to do that by trying to engage with the customers. Now, that's the key trend, what we're seeing. The companies that have reinvented themselves are putting customers at the center. It's not about the products that they sell. It's all about the customers. We now have new entrants into the Fortune 500. There are companies like Netflix, Spotify, Uber, Apple with Apple Pay, right? These companies are becoming part of our daily lives, right? Now, why is that? What is the common thread between all of these companies? Well, these companies have figured out that they can bring their products and services to market in a way that engages with you and I when we experience what they provide to us, right? So if I take, for example, Netflix. Netflix is an entertainment company, right? But it entered the market effectively shipping out DVDs, and it was competing with the likes of Blockbuster around the world, or Video Easy, as we had down here. Now, how were they able to take market share and completely eradicate the competition and become part of our daily lives and get it as part of our wallet share? Well, they've done that because their platform is very engaging and it understands what the customer wants. They know what are the genres that you and I like to watch. They know when we start watching a show, how far we watch it, when we stop it, when we fast forward, when we go back to watching it, right? And all this amount of data allows them to personalize the experience that I have, which is very different to the experience that you have when you're watching the service from Netflix. Now, that's all well and good. What does that mean for the banks, right? So in the banks, right, and the mutuals and the credit unions, we have a lot of data about our customers. But the challenge is all of this data is sitting in silos, right? There is sitting in these legacy monolith applications, right? Now, again, from a technology angle, there's all, some of you guys have programs to bring these things together into data lakes and this and that and the other. But really, what are you doing with that data, right? And how are you actually thinking about that hyper-personalization and that engagement? Remember, the customer of today and tomorrow is not looking at buying products from you, right? They want an engagement, which where they can access your services and their money anytime, anywhere, on any device. It's no longer about the product. We can't put the product in the center of the business model anymore. It's all about the customer. We've got to put the customer in the center and build everything around them. And that is what we're seeing, right, in terms of the shift and the change that we need to go through in the engagement banking era. But how do we do this? And what does this mean? So at Backbase, we've narrowed this down into 4 main ingredients, right? And we call this the one platform approach, right? The first part of that, obviously we talked about the customer, but this is all about how do we delight the customer, right? This is the number one thing, right, that we need to think about and we need to do. How do we help real people in their daily lives to improve their financial well-being, whether that's retail or whether it's SME or corporate or whether it's wealth management, right? How do we empower our employees to be able to service these customers, right? Because again, the new customer of today and tomorrow that wants a different experience, but are your people, are your relationship managers, are your tellers, are the people that are servicing them have access to the information and to the day-to-day need to serve these customers the best way they can in an engaging manner. Again, think about 150 years ago when you walked into the branch, the teller behind it, they knew you, they knew your family, they knew how many kids you had, they knew your property, they knew everything about you, and it was a very personalized experience. We need to be able to do that in today's world using technology. How do we do that? The third element is orchestrating the value and aggregating capabilities from multiple sources. There are plenty of fintech and point solutions and great solutions out there, right? You no longer have to build everything yourself, right? You need a common platform strategy, but you also then need to be able to plug in best of breed and technologies that give you the edge and provide that experience for your customers. So that's orchestrating the value. And then finally, we call this digitizing the operation. And it's to have a clear operating model, putting your digital skills and the people that you have in the organization and best practices in the heart and center of everything that you do. Because technology is just an enabler, but it's the people that make it happen. Now, if you do that, right, what does that mean? So if I take a simple concept of, based on our research, what does a retail customer of today want? The new millennial, right? They want to be able to, how are you going to help me save, right? If you're lucky, right? They usually want to spend all their money, right? How to help me spend, right? Where can I spend the money? Where can I get access to my money? But also help me track the spending that I'm doing, right? Help me grow, right? How do I grow the little money that I might have as a uni student, right? Give me access to loyalty programs. Maybe manage all the subscriptions that I have, right, into one place, and tell me that, hey, if I'm not using something, maybe I should be getting rid of that gym membership or that streaming service that I don't need, right? Help me give, right? How do we link what we do into some of the, non-profits and the charitable organizations, and just, surfacing some of that, and the ability for, for people to react when there is a natural disaster event, right? And how do they help them effectively every time, when they log into their internet banking, sort of surfacing up saying, hey, if you want to give to the Red Cross, here is how you would do it, nice and easy. How do you help them achieve their financial goals? These are all the things that they want, right? They're not interested in products, right? Products are a means to an end. But what they want to know is, do you have an engaging experience with me as your customer? We talked a little bit about Uber before, right? But I really want to drive this message home because I'm pretty passionate about this, as you guys can probably tell, right? So Uber has done this, and they're starting to get into different areas, right? So Uber Eats is something I'm pretty sure most of you guys have used, right? Uber Eats is, it's a pretty simple model, but they've worked it out, right? They've got a platform that engages with the customer, and it connects the customer to effectively to the kitchen, right? And it does that by putting all of the business partners in between on the same platform. So I see the same thing that the driver sees, that the restaurant sees, that the kitchen sees, and then, they've integrated that platform into various FinTech plays, for example, for payments and things like that. That orchestration hub really is what's driving the engagement. And when we talk about engagement, what does that mean? Now, that's at a very, very simple sense, right? I want to order food on the Saturday night for my family, or I've got friends coming over. I go on the app, I look at the menu, I order, the order goes to the restaurant accepts, it goes to the kitchen makes it. I can follow that entire journey throughout. I know when my food is getting picked up, I know which driver's picked it up, I know when he or she is going to deliver it, right? And when I'm going to enjoy the food. That engaging experience is what makes me go back to the app, and that layer, that orchestration layer or engagement layer, then allows Uber to provide that delightful, engaging experience. Now, what does that mean for banks, right? So if we take the same concept, right, what we're trying to do is we want to move away from the systems of record. Like, we have a lot of data, right? We know a lot about our customers, but we're going to move that data into what we call the systems of innovation, which is our platform, and engagement, right? So again, you may have a digital banking solution today that's bolted onto a whole bunch of other systems, but is it really engaging, or is it just another digital banking solution that everybody else has? Right. And this is where, at Backbase, and this is what we do, right? So we've got this thing called the digital banking engagement banking platform, right? And the engagement banking platform really is that orchestration layer that brings everything together from your existing systems and, the FinTech marketplace. So you might have things like Jumia or DocuSign or things like that. That brings it all together. And it then surfaces all of that up to both your customers and your employees. Now, when we talk about customers, it could be retail customers, SME customers, it could be corporate or wealth management. And then from an employee perspective, it could be everybody from the customer service rep answering in the call center to the admin or the tellers, all the way down to a financial advisor. Everybody sees exactly the same data, and you can track the customer on their journey, and you can provide innovative journeys and innovative products and solutions out as your customers see fit. And you'll be able to understand what the customers are doing, because the AI layer will be looking at exactly where your customers are at, what kind of journey, where things start, where things stop, and they'll be matching that against all the other customers and all the other data in the system to give your employees the ability to service the customers in the best way at every point of engagement. Now, there's a lot there. I'm not going to bore you with the details of the platform. We'd love to talk to you and just take you through exactly what some of the cool and innovative things we could do for you. Now, where we've done this historically, we've got over 150 financial institutions around the world that have started this journey with us, right? That have realized they want to go more than just digital banking, and they want to create an engagement experience for their customers. We've got some great customers locally: Westpac, ME Bank, Rabobank. And then within the region, you've got, some powerhouses like BPO, HSBC, HDFC. And then we've also got some small banks like TP Bank, FE Credit, and Greater Bank. So, we can certainly address all gamuts of the market in terms of shape and size. Now, I want to thank you for your time. I want to leave you with this question: are you going to be a Blockbuster or a Netflix, right? Because, that really is the opportunity for all of you guys, right? You're not competing with the big four. It's a different customer base that you have, right? But your customer demands are all pretty much the same. And are you meeting those demands based on what the new customer wants? Because the big four is not your competition. The companies like Square or digital platform players that are coming in, they're the real competition. And really, that's what we call the engagement banking era.